Hey friends, it's Gina from the Rebookery channel. Welcome to the series Finding Your Style. In these videos, I'm going to go through my old journals, my old scrapbooks, and see if I can identify when I started to develop my style. A lot of people struggle with finding what it is that makes them different than any other artist, and I'm going to invite you guys along this journey to see if I can figure out what my style is and maybe give you guys some hints, tips, and tricks too. Thanks for joining me.
Hey friends, it's Gina. Welcome to the Rebookery channel. I am so excited for this episode 2 of my new series called Finding Your Style. After the feedback that I got from you guys last time, it kind of helped me to figure out what direction I wanted to go in, and I was overwhelmed by the comments that you guys gave me and your enthusiasm for this series. I'll be honest, I didn't really know how it was going to go. You've inspired me to take off with this and just kind of run. So today for this episode, I'm going to give you guys some homework. I'm going to give you a challenge, something that I want you to do or to think about, because I didn't realize it, but this was one of the things that I actually did way back when, even really before I even thought about journaling. This was still when I was kind of scrapbooking, but I was wanting to, push those boundaries a little bit and find my artistic style. It is just a binder. It's a big fat 3-ring binder, and I covered it with some scrapbook paper and tried to make it pretty and all this good stuff. But in this binder, this was my plan. Look, I can't even fit it on my table, it's so big. This was my plan book, kind of. This was how nerdy I was about scrapbooking. So I made this silly little sheet where I would write down what album I wanted a layout to go in, what size it was going to be, the number of pics that was going to go on that layout, and then just notes about it. And then over here I would put if I had finished it or not. But these are kind of just some ideas of things I wanted to document, which now I'm thinking I may go back and do some of these, but put them in my art journal because it looks like I didn't complete a lot. These were all sketches, and which is kind of funny because I never actually used sketches. I cannot follow directions to save my life. Yeah, I cannot. I went to one scrapbooking class and it was on how to make a mini album, and it was so funny. It was when, okay, where you have a church laugh? A church laugh, and this is what I tell my kids at school. Okay, a church laugh is one of those laughs where you start giggling and you're in a place where you're not supposed to giggle, and the more you giggle, the more you know you're not supposed to giggle, which makes you giggle even more, and then you can't even look at the person who started to make you giggle, and it just, like you are panicking because you just cannot quit laughing. I had one of those moments at this scrapbooking mini album class, and it was a bunch of adults. They were very serious, and I could not follow the directions to save my life, and I just kept, my friend, I kept looking at her and trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing because the pages were all wrong, and the teacher was not happy with me because I couldn't quit laughing. And so then I started to muffle my laugh, which made me laugh more, and then my friend started laughing, and oh my gosh, that was the one and only class I ever took for scrapbooking because yeah, and needless to say, my mini album turned out great, and I actually went on a whole tirade of mini albums. I have, oh my gosh, I could do a whole series on mini albums. I have a gigantic tub of mini albums, and of course, all of them are ones where I did not follow any directions. I totally made them up on my own. But basically, anyway, so I have trouble following patterns. So this is kind of funny that I have these in here because I never followed them. So anyway, I'm going to just go through this. This is just a bunch of magazine pages, and this is more actually about scrapbooking. But what I wanted to show you, you can kind of tell I was obsessed with scrapbooking. What I wanted to show you is the back. I actually did this back section probably 2006, 2007, because it was before we moved up here to Kansas City. So I remember doing this at my old house in my old town. What I did was I just had some magazines. It's just like some home magazines because I was really into home renovation and decorating at that time. So some home magazines, some, oh, I know, Pottery Barn catalogs, those types of things. And so I had these magazines and I needed to get rid of them, but I wanted to keep the pages. You know how that goes. So I just started pulling pages out. And one day I remember sitting down with my kiddos as they were watching TV, got a glue stick and then a bottle of glue, and then just started gluing these pages onto a piece of paper. And you guys know this. You've probably done stuff like this before, but this is revolutionary to me. I was just blown away. I had never done this before. And I started taking pictures from, you can tell I used bottle glue here because it's kind of warped and bubbly, but I started taking images and pairing them together based on what I thought was pleasing, like color-wise or pattern-wise or texture-wise. And so they might come from two different pages in a magazine, or they might have come from two different magazines. Anyway, so long story short, I just started putting all of these things together, but I just couldn't figure out what to do with these things. I like them, I love them there, but they're just kind of sitting there and they're not doing anything. So then what I did was I went back and I started to write down, why is it that I liked that? What was it that made me want to put this in this book? Or what was it that made me want to put this image with this image with this image? And looking back now, this was me trying to find my style. This was me figuring out what I liked, what I didn't like. And now I'm looking through here and I see patterns. I mean, almost every single page has turquoise on it because turquoise is my favorite. And like on this one, I just wrote O because there were no words for that. That's just O. And oh, honestly, I've recreated this. This I have at my house. Yeah, because I loved this. And so I have a buffet and I recreated this. So even though this was all kind of home decorating, it still is part of my journey as an artist, part of my journey as a journaler and a scrapbooker. So I encourage you guys to do something like this. And maybe you already have done something like this, or you've started something like this. So I encourage you to go back and write little notes on it. What was it that you liked about that? What was it that drew you to this picture? Was it the texture? Was it the color? Was it the glitter and the sparkles and all that good stuff? And then I want you to go back and look at what you've written and kind of make notes of what do you see happening over and over and over again. And that's going to kind of show you, here are the things that are in my style. Here are the things that I'm drawn to. You know, things that you don't have show up, those aren't going to be your style. You'll know that that's not part of your jam. Interesting, I have black and white in here, and I'm not a big black and white fan, but that's funny that I have this in here. I'm drawn to it, I like it, but I don't use it, if that makes any sense. So that's something else too, as you're doing this. What are the things that you like but you don't necessarily use? Because you can still like something, but you don't necessarily use it. Now this page right here, oh Lord, there we go. This page right here, this is one of my favorites. This is just it was in a home magazine, and it was a bunch of quilts and fabrics just folded together and put in a closet. And it's very bubbly because I used wet glue. This is like everything. This page, even now, you know, 10, 12 years later, whatever, this page, it still runs through my mind. I am in love with this is my quintessential style in one photo right here. Just this menagerie of fabrics and textures and the softness and the colors and how there's purple and there's red and there's yellow and there's blue, and you wouldn't normally put those colors together, but yet in this entire page it works. And if you look at my journal pages, I have colors that don't necessarily go together. I have, you know, I'll say to myself, as I'm making a page, I'll be like, why did I put purple in there? This is not a purple color scheme, but yet it works for me because this is my style. This is what I like. This hodgepodge, messy collection of just all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of cool. Okay, I had to come back to this. I was editing the video, and when I got to this point, I noticed a couple of other things that I didn't talk about when I was doing this, but I'm like, I had a revelation as I was filming this video. I totally just had an epiphany. Okay, so check this out, guys. In this magazine page, you know, I talked to you about the color, and I talked to you about the menagerie of patterns. But what I also noticed, look how things are not lined up. Look how things are kind of haphazard, and this one mushes into that one, and this line isn't perfectly linear. That is so me. That is everything that I see when I journal. I totally did not realize this until now, but this page, the reason why this page has stuck in my mind for so many years is because this is my style. And everything about it is what my journaling goes back to. These are the roots of my journaling. So I don't even know that I'm gonna keep this in here. I might take this page out and put it in my art journal because this is so profound. I might journal about this page because I literally have just found the absolute symbol of my style. And I have you guys to thank for it, because if I hadn't been making this video, I wouldn't have pulled this out, and I wouldn't have realized that. So yeah, okay, back to the video. All right, so your homework is to find some magazines, home magazines. It can be beauty magazines, whatever kind of magazines you want. I pulled a couple out here that you guys have talked about. The Somerset Studios magazine, you probably know about these, but they're wonderful. I have a few of them. These are great places for inspiration. This is kind of like my 1000 art journal pages book. So maybe if you have a couple of these, go through and do the same thing. What do you like? What do you not like? If you don't want to write on the pages, then do sticky notes and kind of make mental notes as you go through here. What are the things you're drawn to? What are the things you would actually do? What are the things that you're drawn to but you wouldn't ever do? So yeah. Ooh, yeah. I'm looking at these and I'm like, oh God, I haven't looked at this magazine in forever. I love this stuff. Yeah. Okay, so there's that one. Maybe if you're a scrapbooker and you haven't really gotten in the whole art journaling thing yet, maybe you have some scrapbooking magazines, or maybe you have some scrapbooking books. So this was one of my favorite artists from way back in the day, and this was one of my books that I bought of hers, and you could go through and do the same thing. What are the things that I love in the layouts? What are the things that I would do? What are the things that I love that I wouldn't do? And what are the things that I just totally, that doesn't work for me? I can tell you something right now. See, I see something right now that would never work for me. See how this beautiful mini book right here is perfectly lined up, and there's a lot of what we call white space where there's not anything to distract you, like it's very clean. I love this. I think it's beautiful, but as hard as I try, I can never do things like this. And I have some scrapbook layouts and I have some journal pages where I've tried to do that, and it drives me nuts. It doesn't work. I want to put a sticker here, or I want to doodle up here, or I want to add some fabric right here. So I love this, but I would not do this, if that makes any sense. So kind of think about those things. What are the things that you love that other artists do, but you just know yourself you would never do? One of the comments that someone put on the last video was, I know two things about my journaling. I know that I love to glue things on white paper. So I love glue and white paper. I don't like paint and mess. And I was like, then you already have a direction. That is awesome if you can identify that. All right. So there you go. there's your homework. Find some images, and you can put them in a little book like this, or you can just leave them in the magazine that they're in. Make a collection, make a collage, put things together if you want, and then go back and write little notes out to the side of what drew you to that, what you liked about it. So do me a favor, guys. I love your comments and your feedback. Let me know what you would like to see addressed in this series. What are some issues maybe that you're having trouble with or that you're struggling with, or what are some aha moments? I truly believe in letting you guys kind of guide the way as to how this whole series is going to go. This is kind of like how I do my classroom. I kind of let my students tell me where we need to go and what little lessons and stuff we need to learn. So I'm going to kind of treat this series as like my classroom. What is it? What's the direction that you guys want to go in? I'll kind of make those videos geared towards those issues that you guys want to see addressed. Okay. Have a great rest of the day. If you liked this, give me a thumbs up or subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye.